Geeks Assemble! What's up, guys? It's Casey from the Geeks' Wives here, and it's time for another Ladies of the Roundtable Comics Corner for the week of February 12th. So this week, once again, we got 5 comics for you. I loved every comic this week, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. Try to not ramble on about them because they were all so good. First up, we have Batman 28. So this is a little break from the Year 1 storyline. It actually takes place in what is the upcoming Batman Eternal book, and it will it's heavy spoilers. So if you don't want to know what's coming up in Batman Eternal, do not read this. We get our first introduction who the new crime boss or who the new bad guy in that book will be, and we get to see Bluebird, who is Batman's new sidekick. And like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's a ton of spoilers in here. If you don't want to know, I don't want to spoil it for you, but read it. It's a lot of fun, and we get a glimpse at the far future of Batman. I think this takes place during Batman Eternal, actually 25. So it's not coming out. It's a long way away, but it's really engaging, and it looks really great, and I'm kind of excited for Batman Eternal and see where that character goes and see where this new sidekick goes. So pick that up if you're interested in seeing a little preview of Batman Eternal. Once again, this is not a 0 year, so don't pick up 28 if you're expecting it to be the 0 year storyline. Also out this week is the beginning of the end of Superior Spider-Man. So this is Goblin Nation #1. This is basically, like I said, the beginning of the end. This is the final war that will end the Superior Spider-Man book and lead into Amazing Spider-Man #1. This is Peter Parker trying to fight back from Otto Octavius, who has taken over his body. This is Peter and the Goblin, or Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, finally confronting each other. So there's a lot of revelations in here. Once again, I don't want to be spoiler heavy because if you haven't been reading Superior Spider-Man, this is probably the best point to jump on at this point. That way you'll know all the backstory that's happened. They kind of clue you in at the very beginning, and you'll get to see what is, like I said, the last story in the Superior Spider-Man, the conclusion of this year-long event that Dan Slott has been putting out. It's been an amazing book. I really love it, and I can't wait to finish and read the conclusion. I really enjoyed the first issue. There's so many elements and so much involved, and you can really just see kind of all the ties and all the strings come together here in the beginning of Goblin Nation #1, and it's really coming to an end, and I'm sad because I really love Superior Spider-Man. But go pick this up. I highly recommend it. Great jumping on point if you haven't been reading Spider-Man already. Also out this week, of course, this should be no surprise to anyone who listens to Comic Corner frequently. Another Rick Remender book. This one, The Winter Soldier, The Bitter March. So basically this is kind of a preview of the character, kind of an introduction to the character to those who may not recognize him. The Winter Soldier, who will be the villain in the upcoming Captain America 2 movie. So this is Marvel's kind of idea to kind of introduce him to the public and let comic readers get a story before they go and see that movie. And this is kind of starting out to be like a S.H.I.E.L.D. Versus the Winter Soldier story. I really enjoyed the first issue. A lot of action, a lot of humor, very spy noir, very James Bond kind of stuff. We get a great interactions between the Winter Soldier and Fury, and then another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who plays into this story. So it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I love the Winter Soldier character. I love that he's a villain who ends up becoming a good guy, and all the history and all the spy stuff that goes along with his past. So if you're into spies, if you're into Rick Remender, of course you got to pick up the Winter Soldier. Even if you're going to go see Captain America 2, you're not really familiar with the character, this is probably the book to pick up and get yourself familiar with it. Otherwise, you can go read the Winter Soldier Ed Brubaker novel or collection, which is what the movie is actually based off of. But this is more of a Winter Soldier-centric story, and it doesn't involve Captain America at all, as I can tell. Alright, also out this week, and probably my favorite comic of the week, is Kickass 3, Issue 6. So in this issue, we pick up, basically, back up with Mindy, who is in prison, and she's being interrogated by a psychologist, and they're trying to figure out like why a little girl would become a murderous hero, in her words, and just kill people at will and not have any remorse or anything for these people. So the reason I love this book so much is, number one, because it's basically Mindy's origin story, who is, without saying too much, Mindy's the star of Kickass. Seeing the little girl, hit girl, in her little outfit and just killing people as a little tiny blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful little girl. It's a lot of fun, and she's by far the star of the book and the movies. I don't think it's a dispute to anyone. But so this is basically her origin story, and we get to see a little bit of her background and her training and how her dad kind of coerced her into being a superhero. We also get to see the first moment that she killed somebody. And then we get to see the first moment that she meets her mom, because she long thought that her mom was dead, because her dad told her. So it's a great book, and we get a lot of I think there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of reactions from characters you wouldn't expect. And the last page is completely shocking, and I don't want to give away too much. Once again, if you guys should be all reading these books, I don't want to spoil them for you. So if you want them spoiled, email me or hit me up on Twitter at GWCapesCrew. But until then, try to keep them spoiler free. So the last page is worth the purchase alone. If you haven't been reading Kick-Ass 3, it's by far my favorite of the Kick-Ass series so far. And then, like I said, another book that's concluding with this series. So pick it up. Especially this issue. Like I said, you don't have to know a lot about the story or the happenings that have been happening in Kick-Ass. All you need to know is that Hit Girl is the star of this issue. It's a little bit of her background, and then we get to see a little bit of the story moving forward. So pick that up. A lot of great emotional turns, a lot of great character work, and a lot of great surprises at the end. Alright, and so for my Geeks with Wives fans, or I'm sorry, Ladies of the Round Table fans, I guess the Geeks with Wives too, but for the ladies in particular, I also picked up She-Hulk #1. So this is another book. It was a toss-up between this and Kick-Ass. I really, really love this book by Charles Schulz so much. The art by Paul Dino is great too. I think it really fits the style and the tone of this book. So if you guys aren't familiar with She-Hulk, she is the cousin of Bruce Banner, and she is a lawyer. Her name's Jennifer, and she's a lawyer, and she's also a superhero. So in this issue, it's kind of a one-off story, so we get to see a little bit of her character, a little bit of her character development, a little bit where her story is going to go, and where this book is going to take us on her journey. We get to see kind of her attitude and her the way she kind of lives in this world that she's in, and how she juggles being a lawyer and a superhero and all that stuff. Once again, the art is fantastic. I just really love it. It's a fun book. It's funny. Doesn't take itself too seriously. There's a couple great moments in here where she gets to just kind of Hulk out and be the monster that she loves to be at times. You get a nice cameo from Tony Stark. It's really a great book. It's a one-off story. Basically, it's her kind of taking a case pro bono and getting it taken care of and solved, and having to use her lawyer wits and her She-Hulk strength to get it done. So I highly recommend this book for the ladies of the round table. First issue, #1. So if you don't like it, you at least get a full story, and you don't have to continue. But if you do like it, it's the first issue, so you can jump right in and go. Alright guys, so that's it for me this week on this Ladies of the Round Table Comics Corner. Once again, if you guys want to talk to me, you can hit me up on @GWWCapesCrew on Twitter, or you can visit my website, geekswithwives.com, where I'm always posting comics and comic news, articles, video game stuff. So go there, but always make sure you guys are listening to the Ladies of the Round Table podcast on Friday nights and visiting their website and taking in all the great content that they put out on ladiesoftheroundtable.net. So that's it for me, guys, and I hope to catch you on the geek side.